So the Portland Pirates are a team known for losing all their players. Every season they start off with only 50 overall players. However, things are a bit different. We're in the year 2029 and we just did something that nobody has ever done before. We have drafted a team. And what do I mean by we've drafted a team? Every player here was drafted in the 2029 draft. I traded for every pick in the 2029 draft, and this is that team. The Portland Pirates are a team built from the 2029 draft. However, there's one thing you might notice immediately here. There is no way this is every player from the 2029 draft. And you would be correct. We didn't get every player. Nope, we did not get all 231 players. We only got a fraction of that. We only walked away with probably 60 players from that draft. The rest of those players vanished. They disappeared. They're gone. I don't know where they went, but they are no longer here. But you know what? We can't focus on that. All we can focus on is the Portland Pirates and this team right here. This team full of players from the 2029 draft. And what are we going to do with this team right here? Well, we're going to simulate the next 10 years and we're going to see if a team comprised of only one draft can win a Stanley Cup here. Luckily, we did actually get ourselves a really good draft, so we're immediately bringing a bunch of superstars to the team. However, there is one main weakness this team has, and it is very obvious. We don't have many defensemen. We have very few defensemen on this team, and of the defensemen we do have, they're all left defensemen. We have no right defenseman on this team. We're going to be in a tough spot, that's for sure. However, we're going to make it work. With the amount of superstar talent on this team, the Portland Pirates are going to see a lot of success. So with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and sign all of these players to their entry-level contract, and we're going to get ready for season number 1. So meet the 2029 Portland Pirates. Every player on this team came from the 2029 draft. We had every pick, and this is the team we have. And we're going to see over the next 10 years how much success this team's going to have. Are we going to be able to win Stanley Cups here? That's a massive question mark. Doug Cole is currently our starting goaltender at 74 overall. Olechek's our backup, 59 overall. He does have that medium league potential, but is he going to turn to that star goaltender? We're actually not sure. The real question is, Olechek, should I just have you in the AHL? You might be better off in the AHL. You'll get some more reps there. That might be better for your progression. I think we're going to do that. Olechek, I'm going to send you down to the AHL. You're going to play some big minutes there. It's going to be better for your development. For the first couple years of this video, it is pure tanking. The only problem is we're doing pure tanking and we don't have our own draft pick. We have no draft picks for the next 4 seasons. It costed the next 4 years of this team's future to get every pick for the 2029 draft. Was it worth it? Absolutely. So for the entirety of this video, there's no point stopping at the trade deadline. We're just going to simulate the entire season. We're not making any trades or anything. We're just sticking with the 2029 draft. So while we simulate the entire season here, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. As you know, we're trying to hit 74K by the end of the month. The support's been crazy, but we're not quite there yet. So if you haven't already, of course, subscribe to the channel. Now, I feel like it shouldn't be much of a surprise that the Portland Pirates are the worst team in the entire league, a 28-50-4 record. But there is one thing we do have to consider. We don't own our first round pick. Therefore, it is now going to become the first overall pick. The year we don't own it, it actually will stay as the first overall pick, and I believe we traded it to St. Louis. So St. Louis, you're going to get the first overall pick from Portland. A handful of the young guys did not too bad. Henriksen 57 points, Holland's picking up 61, Trotter 61, Sexsmith 74, Suter's picking up 76 here. We saw some great progression from these guys, a couple of them up to an 86 overall. We got some good development here, and as long as they continue to develop, we'll be in a great spot. Doug Cole, he's still a 75 overall, 23 wins, an 895 and a 367. Not really surprised by those numbers. Like, we really weren't that good of a team. When it comes to the AHL, I wanted to see what Olechek did, but I guess we can't look at his numbers, but we're not going to worry about that. The Edmonton Oilers are Stanley Cup champions. They're taking down the Toronto Maple Leafs in a 5-game series, but I can't wait to see our pick become the first overall. Like, we all know what's going to happen. The year I don't own our first round pick, it actually will stay as the first overall. Never mind, St. Louis is going to jump from 8-1 to get the first overall pick, and then Portland's pick is going to drop from 1-2, so they also get the second overall. They get the first and second overall pick. Why am I not surprised? Of course our picks still had to drop. Now, in all seriousness though, how is it every single time I have a pick in the draft, it always drops? No matter what happens, no matter who owns it, it's going to drop in the draft. It's guaranteed almost every time. Also, since we're sticking with the 2029 Portland Pirates and only players from 2029, there's no point drafting here. So we're just going to simulate the entire draft. We didn't have any draft picks, so it doesn't change anything. We're running it back with the exact same team, and with all the young guys getting better, we should be in a better spot. So yeah, off seasons, re-signed phases, a lot of that's going to be really boring. This is going to be a lot of simulating with the 2029 team. We got to see if this team can really turn it up. We're seeing a lot of great progression from the top players here. here. Holland, I'm throwing you on the top line, you know, at an 87, an 86, and 85 right now. That's actually not too bad. Suter, you should probably play on the top line, but you know what? You have a better fit on the second line, so that's where you're going to play. The forward core is not looking too bad here. The defensive core saw some great improvement. Conboy's still the only 80 overall here at an 81 overall, but the rest of these guys not looking too bad. And then when it comes to goaltending, Doug Cole up to a 77 overall. Raymond Fox is going to be our backup this season. Olechek, he's still in the AHL. He's up to a 63 overall. We're going to allow him to get starts here, and hopefully that's going to help his development. But for now, this is the team we're rocking with. We're not looking incredible right now, but we just have to trust the process. So I don't think it's much of a surprise the Portland Pirates did see an increase in wins this season. We're up to 32 wins, and we're 4th last in the entire league right now, 30th in the entire league. Portland's making strides in the right direction. Yeah, the defense is atrocious, and yeah, our offense sucks, but hold on, what did I just see? I saw somebody's goals for, and it was like 2.1. Detroit scored 2.1 goals per game. No, I gotta look at those stats. Hold on. I don't even care about our stats or anything. Detroit scored 2.1 goals per game. How do you only score 2.1 goals per game? How is that possible? What is the scoring looking like? DeBrink at 65 points, Larkin 62, Lucas Raymond 61, and then it's 30-point scorers. 30-point scorers after that. That is a tough team. Like, this is bad. Like, really bad. Joe Aginla's an 84 overall and picked up 9 goals. What is wrong with your team? You had multiple players minus 52 or worse. No, that team is an absolute disaster. If you thought things were bad for the Portland Pirates, look at the Red Wings. That team is in the absolute trenches. The New York Rangers are Stanley Cup champions. Let's see what pick the Portland Pirates would have gotten if we held on to our pick. Sticking as the 4th overall. It didn't drop to 4. We were projected to get 4, and we actually got 4. Miracles do happen. Brings a tear to my eye seeing our pick not drop in the draft, but of course we don't own it. So yeah, another season's in the books here. Let's go ahead and simulate through the entire offseason, but then we got to give out some extensions. Now unfortunately, all these other players that we acquire from the 2029 draft we're not going to be able to hold on to because we only have 3 contract slots remaining and we have 6 exempt contracts right now. So yeah, those numbers don't add up. So yeah, we're done signing players through the re-sign phase. The rest of those players from the 2029 draft are going to walk, but we got extensions to give out, and we're going to throw out some bags. So we have $82 million in cap space to work with, and we got to re-sign all of these players right here. Hendrickson, I guess you could be the first guy we give an extension to. However, you only want a 1-year contract. I'm not re-signing you for only 1 year. We got to do multiple years with every player. Mink, you're going to start us off with a multi-year contract, but it is going to be a hefty bag I have to give you, but $9 million for the next 5, I think it's going to be worth it. Moving on over to Holland, it's got to be multiple years, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing here. It's going to be 4 years at what? 6.7 million? 4 years at 6.7 seems like a fair deal. Moving on over to Sexsmith, we're going to be looking at 8.6 for the next 5. Suter's been a big time player for us, so you know what? He's going to get his bag. That's going to be $9 million for the next 4 years. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, we're actually going to do a little bit more than that. We'll do 9.2 million for the next 4 years. Got to make sure he sticks around. He's one of the key pieces for us. Dennis is a pretty good bottom 6 centerman, and at this price tag, this is an absolute yes. We're going to do $4 million, actually 4.2. We'll just give him exactly what he wants. What am I doing here? I'm really negotiating from 4.275 million to 4.1 million. Just give bro the bag he wants. Kravchenko, we're going to do basically the exact same thing. I'm just going to give you what you want. You want 3.4 million, I'll give you 3.4 million. Trotter, I'm going to save a little money with you. I've given 2 guys exactly what they were looking for, so yeah, $3 million for the next 2. Gotta save money somewhere. Conboy, I'd like to lock you down for the next 8 years, and if we were to do that, what we'd be looking at 5.9 million. If I did 6.6 million, would you be willing to accept on the dot? Like 6.6 million for you seems pretty fair here, but you don't want to accept that. I guess we're just going to do what you're asking for. So you're asking for 3.6 for the next 3. I guess we can do that. Moving on over to Cameron, we're actually going to do a long-term deal here. We're going to do 8 years at 3.2 million, and by doing a deal like this, we're actually going to have to do more than that. It's going to be 3.6 million, 3.6 for the next 8, but that keeps him around for the rest of the rebuild. Troy Mackey, we're just going to do 3.3 for the next 2 years, a cheap little deal with you. Moving over to Theo, it's going to be 3.8 for the next 3. When it comes to doing deals with forwards, it's way easier because we can lock these guys down for 8 years and then give them like 2.4 million, and then by giving them 2.4 million, it max out their contract interest, and then they accept on the dot. So those are going to be contracts that age incredibly well for us. We're moving over to Helm next, and I think we might be able to do like 1.9 million or something. We can actually just do 1.7 for the next 8 years, and he's willing to accept that. Jocelyn, of course, we have to do an 8-year deal with you. You're one of the few right defensemen we actually have on this team, so we're going to do 3.5 million for the next 8 years, and with a massive bag like that, you're going to be accepting immediately, or at least you should be, and that's exactly what's happening. One of the other few right defense we have on this team is Desmond Landry. So Desmond, how does 2.2 million for the next 8 years sound? A pretty solid deal for you. And then with the rest of these deals, they're probably just going to be two-way contracts, except for Cooper Chan, because he does have medium league potential. So yeah, we'll do 1.2 million for 8 years. Welcome back to the team. So we don't really have that many options when it comes to goaltending. So Doug Cole, you're going to be sticking around. We're going to do 2.8 for the next 8 years. You might have to be our franchise goaltender. And low-key, that scares me a little bit. Olachek, I'm going to try to lock you down to an 8-year deal as well, where you're going to be looking for 1.1 million. So if I do 1.8, we can probably keep you around. Actually, probably less than that, but I mean, what's $1.8 million for the next 8 years? So Olachek, you're going to be sticking around here. And then Andrews, I might as well just give you a pretty similar deal, except this one's going to be even less. We're going to do 1.3 for the next 8. So we're buying in the hype for all of these guys. Hopefully it ages well for us. So we're entering the final year of everyone's entry-level contract. We almost have all 80 overalls when it comes to the forward core, so that's actually a pretty solid sign. And the top 6 is looking amazing, so you know what? This team's showing a lot of potential. Then there's the defense. And the defense is something that definitely needs a lot of work. Hopefully these young guys continue to progress here, but you know what? I'm losing a little bit of faith. When it comes to goaltending, Doug Cole, you're an 80 overall. Raymond Fox, you're a 69. That's not a great sign here. Olachek, you're only a 68 overall. I thought putting you in the HL would be better for your development. Maybe I was wrong. I'm low-key scared with the development of the goaltenders and defense. When it comes to the forward core, that's in a great spot. Goaltending and defense, that's a massive question mark right now. Now, unfortunately, Hendrickson still doesn't want to sign with the team. We've simulated up to January 1st. We're going to have to do a deal like this. 2 years at $9 million. He is going to be accepting that deal, so we do have him locked down for the next 2. But I would have certainly preferred if we were able to get a long-term deal done. So with another year complete here, how did the Portland Pirates get worse? Yeah, we were better in the standings, but we only won 31 games this season. There's no way this team should be getting worse. Offensively, we were better, so that is a good sign. And even defensively, we were better. So we were actually better across the board here. Yet when it came to wins, we didn't get any more wins. We were actually worse. One good sign is we have players with positive plus minuses on this team. We are headed in the right direction. Although things aren't looking good, things will look good eventually. Doug Cole is up to an 81 overall, so he's actually going to be a serviceable starter for us. I think we're about 2 seasons away from potentially making the playoffs. We just got to trust in the team here. We got to trust what we have. The Buffalo Sabres are Stanley Cup champions, but the boys aren't ready quite yet. We got to give them a couple more years. No, it's happened twice in a row now. The Portland Pirates pick that went to Vegas was projected number 5, and it stayed at number 5. That's back-to-back years now where our pick hasn't dropped. No, what's going on here? It's got to be rigged or something. Now, last season, we signed a handful of guys to extensions. We got to do the same thing here. Paul Ellis, we're going to be keeping around 4.9 for the next 3 years. And I'm going to be honest, with everyone else, they're probably just getting 2-way contracts. Nobody's really going to be signing any big deals here. Jacob Carpenter will do $950K for the next 2 years. Christian Bull, it's going to be $925K for the next 2. Wilson, we're going to do $950K for the next 2 years. And then when it comes to Lucic, he's going to be one guy that we're definitely going to have to lock down for the next 8. He's got that medium league potential. He'll probably play some bottom 6 mids for us. I'll give him 1.3 for the next 8 years. Hopefully that contract ages well for us. With everyone else, though, it's just going to be 2-way contracts, so I'll just go ahead and do that. So we're entering year number 4. Everyone's extensions kicked in this season. You know what? Everyone's worth their money. Holland, 89 overall. Henriksen, 89 overall. Minks, a 90 overall. Suter's an 89 overall. Sexsmith's an 86 overall. We have an 86 overall on our third line. The forward core is impeccable. The defense is still atrocious. Like, the defense on this team is just bad. Like, very, very bad. So we're going to have to outscore our problems here. Doug Cole's up to an 82 overall. He's going to be a serviceable goaltender for us. But defensively, we have to be significantly better. So unless something changes in the next couple of years, the 2029 Portland Pirates might be one of the biggest disappointments of all time. Now, I didn't have high expectations for the Portland Pirates, but you know what? They exceeded those expectations. We weren't atrocious this season. 17th in the entire league, a 41-34-7 record. Next season, we'll make the playoffs. I can guarantee you next season we're going to make the playoffs. Our offense will be better. Our defense will be better. This team as a whole is going to be better next season. We're going to find a way to make the postseason. Henriksen, 86 points. Mink, 72 points. Holland, 71. The second line has to be better here. The second line was a massive disappointment. The bottom 6 was a disappointment. Goaltending, you let me down, Doug. 37 wins, 3 shouts, an 896 and a 320. It's just not good enough here. But you know what? The entire team around you is going to be better next season. We're taking steps in the right direction. We're finally going to make the postseason next year. You just got to give me one more year. Okay, it's happened 3 years in a row. I know this is just the 15th overall pick staying as the 15th overall pick, but 3 years in a row, our draft pick hasn't changed positions. I got nothing to say. I'm absolutely speechless. Like, when does this ever happen? Now, we don't have too many guys that need extensions here, but there are a few. Henriksen's one of them. Hopefully, he's willing to sign a long-term deal now. He is willing to sign a long-term deal, but it's not at a cheap price. Then again, we might be able to get this actually cheaper than I thought. We're going to do 10.5 4 for the next 4 years, so he's going to stick around for a majority of the rebuild, and then when those 4 years are up, of course, we're going to re-sign him to the team. Trotter, we're going to look at a 2-year deal at around $3 million. That's pretty fair for your services. Pressburg, you didn't even play for us last season, but I'll still give you 2.9 just because I'm a good guy. Mackey, I'm low-key scared what this deal is going to be looking like. You're wanting $5 million for the next 4. We got to keep you on this team. We're actually going to do less than that, 4.7. Is that pretty fair? It looks like it is. It's pretty fair for his contract interest, and he's going to accept immediately. So we got all the important players signed. Now it's time to give out some two-way deals. So last season we were a fringe wildcard team, but the top 6 is looking even better. But it's time to look at the defense. We have an 85 overall here. I didn't expect this team to ever have an 85 overall, but we do. We have multiple 83s. We only have 179, so that's not going to hold us back too much. Then when it comes to goaltending, Doug Cole, you are an 82 overall. Olachek, you have never developed for us. You have one more season to develop. If not, we're going to be rocking a 79 overall backup, which isn't the end of the world, but I kind of would like a better starter than an 82. But you know what? We're going to work with what we have here. This team has Stanley Cup aspirations, but let's focus on making the playoffs first. Now, we used to pray for times like this. We've been praying for times like this for a while. The Portland Pirates, 9th in the entire league, a 45-30-7 record. The offense was pretty solid this season. The goaltending actually wasn't too bad. Our goals against was just above 3, and considering what this team's defense looks like, I'll definitely take that. When it comes to the offense, though, surprisingly, not a single point a game score. However, Holland's picking up 71, Henriksen's picking up 71, Mink's picking up 70. We had some decent depth scoring throughout the entire lineup. And then when it comes to goaltending, Doug Cole, he was pretty good for us this season. He's an 82 overall, 38 wins, 4 shots, a 900 save percentage, and a 291. But the real question is, can you step up when it matters? This is the first time the Portland Pirates have made the postseason with the 2029 draft. Can we step up in these big time moments? We're about to find out. So the Portland Pirates are going to have to step up in these big time games. What a dominant game number 1 win, 7-2. We're outscoring our problems right now. Yeah, the defense isn't the greatest on this team, but we are outscoring all of our problems. Anaheim, you have the worst defense I've ever seen in my life. I need to know what your goals against was. Nah, who was in net for the Anaheim Ducks? Because that man got lit up game after game after game. He didn't stand a chance. He was absolutely atrocious. What were those numbers looking like? The plus minuses, I'm going to be honest, better than what I was expecting from Anaheim, but the goaltending, Lucas Dostal, you had an 876 and a 488, and then Aiden Hill an 857 and a 541. Nah, what absolute frauds from the Anaheim Ducks. How did y'all do that? So the Portland Pirates have given me a lot of confidence, but my God, was there a lot of upsets. The 4-seeded St. Louis Blues beat the 1-seed Edmonton Oilers. Portland dominated Anaheim. Vegas swept the Colorado Avalanche. Chicago beat Nashville in a 5-game series. Toronto swept Ottawa. There was only 2 favorites that actually won their matchup. The Florida Panthers beating the Buffalo Sabres, but that went to 7 games. The New Jersey Devils taking down the Red Wings, and then the 3-seeded Philadelphia Flyers beat the 2nd-seed Carolina Hurricanes. What is going on with all these upsets? Now, based on all the upsets, I think this is Portland's year to win it. If we're going to win a Stanley Cup, we got to do it right here. And you know what? We're actually doing not too bad in the postseason. We have a 3-1 series lead. Can we close it out against the greatest team of all time, the St. Louis Blues? Nah, Doug Cole's really locking in for us. He's been the difference maker so far. Doug Cole has been an absolute superstar. We're moving on to take on the Chicago Blackhawks. I don't want to stop. Doug Cole is him. Bro cannot be stopped right now. He continues to keep every single shot out of the net, and he's immediately allowing 6 goals, but who cares? Because he was elite in 3 straight games after that. He's going to have a bad game from time to time, but he is locking in, and here we are, the Stanley Cup final. The Portland Pirates have made it here, but we have our toughest task, the New Jersey Devils. We got to win these first 2 games, and that's what we're doing. Doug Cole, you are built different. You are the greatest goalie of all time. Do not blow a 3-0 series lead. Please do not blow a 3-0 series lead. Why are we blowing a 3-0 series lead? You can't do this to me. Do not do this, Portland. We cannot blow a 3-0 series lead. We can't do this. Doug Cole was putting up historic numbers. We can't do this. We can't do this right here. Why are we doing this? We blew a 3-0 series lead. We dominated the first 3 games, and we lost. 5-1, 6-2, 4-2, and then the script flipped. 8 goals allowed, 4 goals allowed, 6 goals allowed, 5 goals allowed. The boys collapsed. I'm speechless. I really don't know what to say. What happened to our great team? No, like real talk, what just happened? What did I just witness? Sexsmith, 28 points, you had 17 goals. Henriksen, 27 points. Mink, 25 points. Suter, 25 points. Holland, 23 points. Look at all the point-a-game scores we had. We had all the scoring. We even had the goaltending. And his numbers look way worse than what they actually are, because take away those final 4 games, he probably has a 250. He probably had a 915 to 250. Doug Cole was an absolute superstar. But but when it mattered most, the entire team folded. No, I got nothing to say. Doug Cole, we let you down. Okay, so we got some big extensions to give out here. The team just looked incredible, made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final. We're not going to talk about the result though. Kravchenko, I'd like to keep you around for the rest of the rebuild. And how many years do we have left here? We have 5 years left, so you're going to need a 4-year extension, and we can definitely do a 4-year extension at a reasonable price here. So we'll probably be looking at $5 million for the next 4 years. That will keep you around. I guess we're going to have to do more than that. It's going to be 5.5 for the next 4. So Kravchenko is going to be sticking around, but now we got to re-sign these defensemen, and defensemen never want to sign reasonable deals. Here's a perfect example. Theo looking for $9 million, but we got to do it. We need one of our number 1 defensemen to stick around, so we're going to have to pay that man. Even Conboy's not looking to help us too much here. He's looking for $7 million, but you know what? I'll give you a no movement clause, and by giving you a no movement, we'll be able to get this down a little bit. Truthfully, I should have just gave every player a no movement. Why didn't I do that? No, stick on the ice wasn't cooking. So we have $5.2 million left in cap space here. Carpenter, I'll do 2.2 for 1 season. That'll keep you around, and then with everybody else, I don't know if we're going to have enough money. I'm going to be completely honest here. Wilson will do $1.3 million for 1 season. That'll be enough for you. And then Bull, I would like to lock you down for 4 years. Like if we can do a reasonable deal at 4 years, but it doesn't look like it, or can we? Because we got to save money somewhere. So I mean, if I lock you down for $2.5 million, that's actually not going to be that bad of a contract. It'll age pretty well here. And I'll give you a no movement as well. And if I give you a no movement, we can even do less money. So how does 2.3 for the next 4 years sound? You get a no movement. We're keeping the entire 2029 draft around here. So you know what? We got to do deals like that. All right, so the Portland Pirates are giving me a lot of faith based on what we did last season. The team finished 9th in the entire league. We made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final, and then something happened. You know what? The game glitched. Nothing we can do about it. Doug Cole, he's an 8-2 overall. He just proved he can be a starting goaltender in this league. Raymond Fox, he's our backup here. But yeah, the game glitched. That's what we're going to go with. So Portland's going to be even better this season. A 48-29-5 record is going to have us 8th in the entire league. The offense was better. The defense was better. Everything about this team was better this season. So I'm expecting us to win the Stanley Cup this time. We made it all the way to Game 7 last season. We also made it to Game 6 last season and Game 5. And we could have won in any of those games. We could have even won in Game number 4. But we chose not to. Doug Cole, 82 overall. He was spectacular this season. But I need you to be spectacular once again in the postseason. We're taking on the San Jose Sharks. Things are certainly going to be different this postseason run. I don't think there's going to be quite as many upsets, but we got to lock in. So the boys got to lock in here. If we're going to win a Stanley Cup, we can't mess around here. Let's just win games. We allowed 7 goals in game number 1. What are we doing? 5 goals in game number 2. We are choking. We are losing game after game here. Ever since we blew that 3-0 series lead, we just haven't been the same. Luckily, we've won back-to-back games. Can we make it 3 straight games? Yes, we can. Can we make it 4 straight games and move on to the second round? Maybe Portland was messing around those first 2 games, and it looks like they were. So we took down the San Jose Sharks, won 4 straight games, and we get to take on the 4th-seeded Chicago Blackhawks. What is with all the low seeds winning? It's happened way too often in just 2 postseason runs, but hey, I'll take it. I mean, technically, aren't they the higher seed because they're 4, not 1? Is 4 considered the low seed, or is 1 considered the low seed? Honestly, I don't think it really matters too much. We're winning game number 1. We're dropping game 2. We're going to respond in game 3 and respond in game 4, so we'll close out in game number 5, and we're moving on to the conference finals. Portland has been incredible yet again in the postseason, so we just got to keep on simulating games here. We can't stop. We got momentum, and we're taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. If I remember correctly, they were a 4 seed. So yeah, we probably should beat them, and then we should make it to the Stanley Cup final. The Portland Pirates, led by Doug Cole, are an unstoppable force. Here we go. Back in the Stanley Cup final, a chance to get revenge. We have a chance to get revenge here. We get to take on the New Jersey Devils. We are not losing. I refuse to lose to the New Jersey Devils here. We will beat them. We're going to win the first 4 games. We're not messing around this time. We split the series. It's been a high-scoring series. Whoever is better defensively has been winning these matchups, and it looks like that was New Jersey in game number 5. We're off to game 6 elimination. Don't lose. Please don't lose. Like, I can't afford to lose this game right here. I can't go through back-to-back losses in the Stanley Cup final. Y'all better not lose. Please don't lose in the 3rd period. Please don't lose in overtime. Suter, you absolute legend. Forcing game 7. We have a chance to win this. New Jersey, you messed up. You should have eliminated us, but you choked. We got game 7. Game 7 yet again between the New Jersey Devils and Portland Pirates. We're not worried about what happened last postseason. We're only focused on this postseason right here, and we're only focused on showing up in the 3rd period, and that's where we lost. We really lost that. Okay. Back-to-back game 7s in the Stanley Cup final, and we've lost to the New Jersey Devils both times. This is beyond ridiculous. Not like, seriously, what could have we done? The offense, amazing yet again. I mean, maybe we could have had more offense from our bottom 6 guys, but you know what? That didn't even look atrocious here. When it comes to goaltending, yeah, Doug Cole was significantly worse. He had an 894 and a 315, so that was the difference maker. Doug Cole being terrible in that series against the New Jersey Devils was the difference maker. If only Bro could have posted a 280 and we would have been Stanley Cup champions. But in the big time games, Doug Cole is going to be letting me down. Why is Doug Cole doing this to me? I was about to make Doug Cole a stick on the ice legend. Not anymore. Alright, so this is going to be one of the few times we actually run into some financial troubles. Holland, you have to come back to the team here. You're one of the most important pieces. I can't do $13 million. I just can't do that. We actually might be losing some good players here. Suter, I can't do that either. If I do both of these deals right here, we're not going to be able to bring anyone else back. And I also can't do a 1-year deal with you. So the financial problems are finally setting in for us. Is there anyone we can actually trade away just to get rid of their contract? Like, it doesn't look like it. Everyone we're paying is actually turned into a pretty solid player. Henriksen, $10 million for a 90 overall. Suter's $9.2 million, he's an 89 overall. Mink's $9 million for a 90 overall. Like, everyone's getting paid fairly reasonable. I mean, maybe we could trade Convoy. We could free up $7.2 million. Like, we do have Ellis, and then how much money is Ellis looking for? Like, we low-key could trade Convoy away and just keep Ellis on the team. Like, we would do a 3-year extension with him, probably $6 million, give him a no movement. That might not be a bad move. We'd free up $1.2 million in a move like that. That could be the move. Convoy, you were a great player and all, but we got to free up that money. So with Convoy gone, Ellis will come back to the team. We'll do a pretty reasonable deal with him. I'll give him $5.8 million and a no movement. So $5.8 million plus a no movement is going to be keeping Paul Ellis around. He's going to be taking Convoy's spot. He'll move up in the lineup. That's actually a pretty fair deal for what he's going to be getting paid. We freed up approximately $1.4 million, and then we're going to wait a little bit with Holland and Suter because I do want to bring both of those guys back. Alright, so the plan is to simulate up till January 1st, and ideally we're going to be able to re-sign everybody. We're going to give them no movement clauses and everything. I want to keep them around for the next 4 years, so we got to make sure we can give them 3-year extensions. Doug Cole, you lost your X Factor. After that postseason performance, I'm honestly not that surprised. Also, Olechek, what's your overall? You're an 81 overall. You only have medium start potential now, but at least you reached an 80 overall. So I guess we can celebrate that, but not really. So it's January 1st, 2036. Are we going to get some reasonable deals done here? You know what, Holland? At least you're willing to sign a multi-year deal. I'll take it. I don't want to do $13 million because you're kind of wild in there. So we'll do $12 million for the next 7 with a full no movement. So he's going to stick around here. And then Suter, of course, we have to keep you around. You're another really important piece to this team. And we're basically going to be doing the exact same deal. Now, unfortunately, with Suter, we're not going to be able to do $12 million in a no movement. We're going to have to do 12.8 with a no movement. So that's going to be enough to keep him around. So Suter's going to return to the team as well. And now we have a handful of other guys that need extensions. Trotter, we're not going to be able to afford him. He wants $7.6 million. So unfortunately, he's going to be leaving the team. Pressburg, I guess we could keep you around. I mean, you're probably going to ask for something decent. If we did a 3-year extension at, say, $4.4 million with a no movement, then we'll definitely be keeping you around here. And you know what? We actually might be doing $4 million exactly for the next 3 years. So yeah, Pressburg's going to be sticking around, and Trotter, unfortunately, we are going to lose you. Now, we've certainly been in this position before. 9th in the entire league, a 48, 28, and 6 record. A decent enough offense with a pretty solid defense. I almost feel like this season has happened before. We don't have a point a game scorer. Holland leads the way. He had 77 points. Henriksen, he had 77 points, minus 16, minus 10. Not the greatest sign. Mink, you're minus 16. Those plus minuses aren't giving me a lot of hope here. Doug Cole, you're pretty solid in the regular season. Why do I feel like I've seen this before? Oh, it's because it's happened 2 different times now. This is the same thing that happens every season. We're going to beat the Edmonton Oilers. We'll take on Chicago in the second round. Probably Anaheim in the conference finals. And then we'll lose to New Jersey in the Stanley Cup final. I see it all happening. So I guess we're about to see if my prediction's right. Are the Portland Pirates going to take down the Edmonton Oilers, move on the second round to take on a really bad team in the second round, or are we just going to lose here? Well, I guess we're going to take the losing option. We're down 3-1 in the series. This Portland team should be better than this. We should have 2 Stanley Cups. But here we are, facing elimination in game number 5. We're taking on the Edmonton Oilers. We're picking up 4 goals in the first period, another goal in the second, winning this one 7-2. That was a statement game right there. Let's win 2 more. If we can win a game 7-2, we can make a 3-1 series comeback. But the one thing we have to do here, we got to take it 1 game at a time. We can't get ahead of ourselves. We have to win game number 6 in order to get to game 7. And now we have to pick up 2 goals in the third period just to force overtime. So this team better show up when it matters. We're getting shut out. That is not what we were looking for. The 2029 draft has 3 seasons left. They have 3 seasons to at least win 1 Stanley Cup. We've made it to 2 Stanley Cup finals, and we've lost in Game 7 both times to the New Jersey Devils. I don't know what's going on with this team, but the big time players have to step up in these big games. Doug Cole, you have to be significantly better than this. An 877 and a 363 definitely won't cut it. There's a reason why we lost in the first round, and those numbers are the reason. Okay, so we're actually going to be able to bring back Bruce Trotter here. We haven't got to the draft, we haven't got to the re-sign phase, but he's looking for $7 million. Stick on the ice, how in the world are you going to keep him on this team? Well, we're going to offer him a 3-year deal, and then he only wants $5 million. And then by giving him a no movement, we're going to get that for even less. So yeah, Trotter, you're going to come back to this team and you're going to be looking at $5 million for the next 3 years. Honestly, not too bad of a deal. So unfortunately, we're fine. We're going to be losing some decent players from the 2029 draft. Pressburg's not going to be returning to the team. We don't have the finances for him. Carpenter, you're probably not going to return to the team either. We don't have the money for you. We're going to be losing some good pieces here just because we ran out of cap space. Wilson's going to leave the team. We don't have the money for him. I don't know what this team's going to do in order to respond. Now, of course, nothing would ever be easy for this team. Mink needs an extension here. He's looking for $14 million. We have 21 to work with. Sexsmith, I don't really know how much you're going to be looking for. Hopefully it's not too bad. Yeah, we can't do it. We can't keep both of these guys around. We're going to have to go with Mink here. He's the better player of the two. But yeah, this is a tough loss. Of course, we're going to give a no movement. I'm going to hopefully get that down to $13 million. And then maybe if we play our cards right, we actually will be able to bring back Sexsmith. It's going to be incredibly difficult, but if we do 12.5 for the next 7 years with Mink, that keeps him around for the rest of the rebuild. That gives us $9 million to work with, give or take. Sexsmith, we're not going to re-sign you until the salary cap goes up. Once the salary cap goes up, I think we'll have enough money. But yeah, I think we have to accept the fact that this team is basically not going to have a bottom 6. Like, we won't have any other option. So the Portland Pirates are a team that has a lot of potential. Like, we have a lot of amazing players here. However, in the big time moments, we fold. Every single time we have to play an important game, this team finds a way to lose. I don't know why that's the case, but it is. Doug Cole, you're still a starting goaltender here. Olachek, it looks like you're going to be the backup this season at 81. We just need somebody to take over here. I don't care who it is. We need somebody to dominate. All right, Portland, no excuses. You're 4th in the entire league. There's only a few teams better than you. One of them happens to be the New Jersey Devils, but we're not going to worry about that. Holland's going to lead the way here. He's first in scoring. He's got 78 points. Mink's got 65. Suter's got 64. When it comes to goaltending, Doug Cole, you are really good this season. 41 wins, a 910, and a 269. I need you to step up when it matters. I need you to absolutely lock in. We're taking on the Dallas Stars. I am incredibly concerned, but we will lock in. The 2029 draft class has to get one Stanley Cup here. The boys have to lock in and win at least one Stanley Cup for me. Game 1 was an overtime victory, but hey, a win is a win. Game 2 is a shutout. We're going to probably sweep the Dallas Stars here because Doug Cole is absolutely locked in. We are not stopping here. Doug Cole has put up a spectacular performance in the past 3 games. 2 shutouts, a 1-goal game in game number 4. Nah, bro is absolutely locked in right now and we're not stopping. Doug Cole, you are going to lead us to greatness. We're taking on the Anaheim Ducks in the second round. I'm not scared of Anaheim whatsoever. With the way Doug Cole has been playing, there's no team in the league that can stop us. Yeah, we allowed 5 goals to game number 1, but this team refuses to lose. We have now lost back-to-back games, but we're not going to make it 3 straight because we're going to lock in game number 5. We're winning that one in overtime. The last 3 games have all gone to overtime. It doesn't matter though because we're winning this one in regulation. We made it to the conference finals. The boys refuse to stop. Doug Cole, you weren't nearly as good in the second round, but you know what? I believe in you. I know you're going to step up in these big-time moments, and you're going to do that against the Chicago Blackhawks. A 1-goal performance in game number 1 is exactly what we're looking for in the exact same game number 4. Take them out in game 5, move on to the Stanley Cup final. The boys are back. The boys are back in the Stanley Cup final. We got to keep on moving here. We can't stop whatsoever. We have the Philadelphia Flyers. Luckily, it's not the New Jersey Devils. The Portland Pirates have a chance to do it. They have a chance to finally win a Stanley Cup here. Do not fold when it matters most. It was almost a sweep, but I am very scared because we've been in this position before. We have choked this away before. We have blown 3-0 series leads before, but not today. The Portland Pirates have locked in, and the 2029 draft class just got themselves a Stanley Cup. No, I'm not going to lie. I was absolutely terrified simulating the postseason. The Portland Pirates finally did it. They were up 3-0 in the series, proceeded to lose back-to-back games because they're complete and utter frauds, but it doesn't matter. Mink, Suter, Henriksen, Holland, Dennis, Sexsmith, all of you guys were incredible, but it all comes down to one man, and his name is Doug Cole. 16 wins, 2 shots, a 916, a 267. In the big time games, bro stepped up when it mattered, and we're finally Stanley Cup champions. The Portland Pirates have finally did after years of disappointment, but but the job's not finished. The job is not done yet. We got 2 more seasons. Let's complete a three-peat. And with a big Stanley Cup win like that, Sexsmith, I know for a fact you're going to want to return to the team. Why wouldn't you? You only want to do a 1-year deal. We have to do at least 2. We have to do at minimum a 2-year deal here. We could probably do $10.8 million for 2 seasons, and that's what I'm going to offer you. Hopefully that's going to be enough to keep you on this team. Sexsmith, I need to keep you around. So this is the big question right here. Sexsmith is going to be returning to the team. The boys are ready to run it back. So in those big time games, we had a lot of big time performers, and Dennis was one of them. However, with the way the salary cap is right now, Dennis, unfortunately, you're not going to be coming back to the team. Hopefully we're going to be able to re-sign a couple of these guys though. We need to bring some of these players back because we need somebody to play on the bottom 6 here. Unfortunately, I don't see any of these guys except in 2-way contracts, so we might be in a little bit of trouble. So yeah, we actually might be losing a handful of players here. Luckily, we are going to be able to bring back Neil. We'll do 1.6 for the next 2 years. But outside of him, who else can we really afford here? Like Graves, I guess I can keep you around and we'll do 1.25. Actually, I'll make that 1.3 for the next 2 years. We got to make sure somebody's staying on this team. Riley, you're probably going to be leaving here, and it looks like you will be. Yeah, this team's in a really tough spot right now. Financially, we just have no money to work with. All right, so there's 2 players that have to be signed. Henriksen, of course, I want to keep you on this team. You're an incredibly valuable asset. However, are we going to be actually able to keep you on this team? That's another question. Like, re-sign you is not going to be that difficult. It'll be 10.5 for the next 7 years. However, Mackie, how are we going to keep you on this team? Like, I know for a fact you're going to want an absolute bag. You're looking for $7 million here. What if I give you no movement? That does not interest you whatsoever. Is there any way we could do a deal, like even a 1-year deal? Would you be interested in that? Not whatsoever. So unfortunately, we are going to be losing Mackie. Oh man, I guess you're going to be jumping into the lineup. We're going to need you to play some big minutes. So the boys are coming off the Stanley Cup. It was a historic day. The Portland Pirates finally did it with the 2029 draft. But as I mentioned, the job's not finished yet. We still got to win ourselves another Stanley Cup, and that's what we're going to try to do this season. We got some great pieces on this team. The team's looking incredible. Doug Cole is now an 83 overall. Nothing can stop us now. Now, last season when the Portland Pirates won the Stanley Cup, they finished 4th in the entire league. The boys finished 4th in the entire league yet again. However, we did have 52 wins this time. But you know what? I believe in the team. Suter's leading the way. We didn't have a point a game score like we did last season. Everything is reminding me of what this team did last season. We're showing all the potential in the world. We have the goaltending. We have absolutely everything in order to win. We're taking on Dallas in the first round. Everything's going our way. So we're doing the exact same thing we did last postseason. We're not stopping to look at the bracket. We're just going to keep on simulating games here, except we did drop game number 1 here. That is very different than last season, and we lost game 2 9-4. Okay, we are frauds. We are complete and utter frauds. We just about got swept. So yeah, unless we win this game, I don't see the boys making a comeback in this series. Things are not looking good for us, but we're still alive. We've won back-to-back games now. Let's make it 3 straight. So we got to win this game if we want to stay alive, picking up 2 goals in the first period, another 2 in the second. Are we making a 3-0 series comeback? I think the Portland Pirates are. So we have to win this game right here. Game number 7 is the biggest game. Can the Portland Pirates close it out when it matters most? It's going to be a scoreless first period. In the second, we're outscoring them 2-1. Can we hold it down the third period when it matters most? The boys really did that. A 3-0 series comeback, and we got some momentum right now. We got momentum, and the boys aren't looking to stop. We're immediately moving to the second round. The Portland Pirates have learned from all their mistakes. They blew a 3-0 series lead the first time they made the postseason. This time's a little bit different. The Portland Pirates are built different. They know what it takes to win. We've won 6 straight games. Can we make it 7 straight? Unfortunately not, but you know what? We'll just start a new winning streak here. We have a 3-1 series lead. Close out in game number 5. We're moving on to the conference finals. This team cannot be stopped. The Portland Pirates are just something special right now. There's something about this 2029 draft class that's just built different. There's so many superstars that came from this draft class, and all of them are on our team right here. We have to win game number 5. That's the big game. Can we win that one? 7-1. We didn't win 7-1. We actually lost 7-1. Not a good look. But you know what? In the big time moments, that's when the big time players are going to show up here. We're allowing a goal in the first period. That's perfectly fine because Lucic is responding in the second. The third period's the big one. Can we stay alive in this series? Of course we can. 3 unanswered goals. We got ourselves game 7, 1 game away from the Stanley Cup final. So it all comes down to game 7 yet again. Here can the Portland Pirates step up when it matters most. We've made big comebacks before, so how about we make another one here? We were trailing 3-2 in the series, but we're going to win back-to-back games. Yeah, they might might have scored 2 goals in the first period, but the boys are still making the comeback. We're scoring the overtime winner. We're off to the Stanley Cup final. See you at the beginning of next season. Before we get to next season, though, we do have to take one quick look at the stats. Nashville's winning the Stanley Cup here. Mink 18 points, Suter 17, Sexsmith 17, Holland 16. We had great scoring throughout the entire lineup. It must have been goaltending. Did Doug Cole fold when it mattered most? Yes, he did. 11 wins, 3 shutouts. That's okay and all, but a 903 and a 305? Bro, you had 3 shutouts. How'd you have a 305? Like, that's actually really bad. Now, there is one thing we will do before we actually get to the draft here. Now, the salary cap did go up, so that means we have a little bit more money to work with. Mackey, are you coming back to this team? We actually might have enough now, except you want $10 million. Okay, yeah, you will not return to this team unless you're willing to sign like a 1-year deal or something. Can we do something a little bit more reasonable? Like, this is just outlandish. But yeah, we're going to be losing Mackey, 88 overall, medium league potential, one of the better players on this team. But that's just what happens. So here we go. It's the final season with the Portland Pirates, year number 10. This is the best the team's been looking. We actually drafted an incredible team here. Like 87 overalls on the third line. You already know we're in a great spot. Even the defense is actually developed pretty solid. 90 overall, 85, 83, 86. That's a pretty good defense right there. And then Doug Cole, 83 overall. He's been a stud goaltender for us. I just need him to be great one more time. So in year number 10, it finally happened. The 2029 Portland Pirates, first in the entire league, a 56, 22, and 4 record. We had the best defense in the entire league. Who would have thought? I never expected us to have the best defense, but I do find it funny. I think we went through this entire video without 1 point a game score. I don't know if anyone ever averaged a point a game on this team. I don't think anybody did. We had some players who were close, but I don't think anyone ever hit 82 points in 82 games. Holland, Suter, Mink, Sexsmith, Henriksen, Trotter, all those guys were the big time performers like usual. And then when it comes to goaltending, Doug Cole, bro, was locked in. The best season he's ever had. 42 wins, 4 shots, a 918, a 237. I need you to post numbers like this in the postseason. I need you to absolutely lock in. Portland's got to get one more. So here we go, Portland. It's time for you to get one more. One more Stanley Cup here, and this is a great start. An 8-1 victory in game number 1, winning game 2. We're dropping game 3, but who cares about that? Okay, now I care because we dropped back-to-back games. The offense was spectacular through the first 2 games, but it has completely vanished since then. We were lucky enough to steal game number 5 away, but can we steal game number 6 as well? Yes, we can. The Portland Pirates are moving on here, and you know what? We just got to keep on simulating. By keeping on simulating, we're keeping the luck going here. And you know what? We got to keep the luck going. We got to use the luck to our advantage. We're moving on to the second round. We got the San Jose Sharks. We're winning game 1, but we're dropping game 2. Hopefully, we didn't drop game number 3. I don't think we did. Nope, we're winning that one. We have a commanding 3-1 series lead, and the boys are going to close out in game number 5 because they know what they have to do here. They're locking in. They are allowing 7 goals. Ain't no way. There's no way I just said you have to lock in and you allow 10 goals in the past 2 games and we've only scored 2 goals. Bro, what? But here we go. Facing elimination. We were out 3-1 the series. We're not going to blow a 3-1 series lead. We're not going to finish this video off blowing a 3-1 series lead. We blew a 3-1 series lead, losing 3-1 in game number 7. That is a tough way to end this video. Now, the Portland Pirates, they were a pretty solid team. They won a Stanley Cup, made to multiple Stanley Cup finals over the past 10 years, and you have to consider the first 4 years were basically just strictly development. So in the past 6 seasons, we've won 1 Stanley Cup and made to 3 Stanley Cup finals. I really wish this team saw some more success, but you know what? I think it came down to defense and goaltending, but Doug Cole wasn't too bad. 7 wins, 1 shot, a 914 to 265. He actually showed up in these big time moments. The offense disappeared. The one thing we were known for was our offense, and the big time games when it mattered most, the offense folded. We just couldn't pick up more than 1 goal in that final elimination game. I mean, to be fair though, in those final 3 games, how many goals did we actually score? I think we only scored 3. Like in these final 3 games, we had to win 1 of them. We scored 3 goals in 3 games and we allowed 13 goals. Yeah, that's certainly not going to win you a Stanley Cup.